Hey there, welcome back to the Rockhound Podcast. It's so good to come and be with you guys. It seems like it's been forever. We're going to be celebrating rocks and the hounds that find rocks and the places we go for them. We've got a totally special podcast tonight for you, as always. But tonight is extra special because we've got a very, very special guest, his firstliest show appearance here on the podcast. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Greg. You've probably seen me in the comments. I don't have a channel yet. We'll
Yeah.
see about that. And I'm currently coming to you from about 2 hours to the east of Rapid City, South Dakota, sitting in a rest stop, working my way back home after 2 weeks on the road.
Woo! Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on the road. This is so cool because we're actually getting like the trip report during the trip. I love it.
Rockhound on the road, live reporting.
Right? Podcast on wheels. Let's go. Thank you, Greg. Great to have you here. And who are you today, Kyle?
I'm the man in front of the curtain. I guess because was it my live sale on Tuesday? Like, yeah, we should have a podcast. Everyone's gonna be there except for me. I'll be behind the curtain again. So I'm not behind the curtain again.
We'll keep on promising, and you'll probably keep on seeing his face. And so I don't think anybody's bummed out about that. So good to have everyone here tonight. And what we figured we'd do was go over the trip reports for Greg, and Kyle went on an adventure. The Wizard of Ob was in Ob Ground Zero, Glass Butte, and I got to do some tripping myself. And so really quick, we'll run over the shouts and get right into it. So, of course, there were lots of shouts because y'all, it's been a couple of podcasts. So first of all, happy birthday to Theo. He's not here tonight because he's busy celebrating. So cheers to you, Theo.
Cheers.
Yep, Steinkern and all that kind of good stuff. And also a very happy birthday to Lisa. So another cheers to you and many, many more. And all y'all with birthdays. Cheers to you as well.
I'm pretty sure you guys' drink's a lot colder than mine.
Aw, turn that fan up, man. And let's see, Sandmaker, we are happy that you're alive and survived the landslide that you took part in. Apparently, he is surfing mountains these days. So a real story. He had left it in the Discord if you're interested in reading about it. He was actually looking for signs of disturbance and geologic instability, talked to a ranger, and then ended up actually sliding down a hill with the hill. Like, wow. How surreal is that? Yeah.
Freaky.
But he had seen the signs. And so, his words of wisdom were heads up and check for signs and then I guess be ready. But the silver lining was that he did end up with garnets in his clothing from it, his shirts and his shoes, apparently. And so, of course, everybody on the Discord was like, oh, man, sorry. Where are the garnets? Like, we want to see the garnets.
Yeah. So. You gotta show us all that hard work.
So Sandmaker, we got to see the garnets. And let's see, there was the fabulous fish collab with Kyle and Theo, and everybody in the comments basically were tripping that you guys were in the same room together. So that was the lion's share of the comments. Amazed with what you guys were able to do and really enjoying the conversation, which when I got a chance to catch up with that, it was a super cool conversation. Really surreal not being part of the podcast, just being able to sit it out and watch you guys. That was awesome. And a tangent still abounded, of course. Then we also had the last podcast that Theo and he was at the mineral show, I guess, during the weekend, either before or after, and Kurt actually took part in that, made some wraps and sold them there at the mineral show. And so how cool was that? And we got a little trip report from that. So I guess that was afterwards. And people were appreciative of that. And let's see, we're going to hear more about the trip that Kyle took on tonight, because everybody's videos are slowly coming out on, part 1, part 2, part 3 of the stuff. And so we got to see the video that Kyle made about Glass Butte. And if you haven't yet, you can go check it out after the podcast. And we would love to hear about what you guys have been up to, because the summer rock hounding season is starting to close up. It's the end. I know, there are big tears. And so, of course, dun dun dun, let us know what you guys are up to. And that's, of course, why we're looking forward to Greg filling us in, because I think that you have to be the houndliest viewer right now, with the most trips that I can think of, the most miles clocked.
Yeah, I've gone pretty much from West Coast to East Coast this summer. It's been crazy. This latest trip here, I started out, it'll be 2 weeks ago as of Friday. Left home Saturday, got into Minnesota, popped by for a visit with Jackie. That was awesome. Hi, Jackie, again.
Hey, Jackie. Yeah, how cool is that?
And then the next day, got into Chicago, met up with Tyler, and then we hit the road for Mohawk Valley mineral mining with a meetup with Rufotris. So it was myself, Geode Cracker and Collector, and Rufotris Rooted Rockhound, all breaking rock and finding all kinds of lovely goodies. And then from there, I had to bring Tyler back, of course. Otherwise, his wife, Heather, might have gotten really mad with me. And that wouldn't have been a good thing.
Canadian hostage. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, there's a couple of signs there along the way, like Ontario going this way, or Niagara Falls this way, Canada. It's like he sent his wife a text saying, "He's kidnapping me. Better not be." But yeah.
Great minds think alike there.
Hope you brought your passport.
Yeah, I asked him, "Do you have your passport with you?"
That or get in the trunk, man. Yeah.
So from there, had to bring Tyler back, and then I had a bit of decision making to do. I was considering going down to the Minerva mine, which is an old fluorite mine, and then I was reading some reports on Mindat about it being trolled by the county sheriff because they've had problems with users back there, let's just say.
Oh no.
So yeah, so basically it's pretty much a no-go to go rooting through the tailings piles, from what I understand. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I didn't want to take the chance. I mean, I'm a foreign visitor, and I just don't want to have that interaction if I can avoid it. So instead, I decided I was going to go to the Keokuk area and go looking for some geodes. So I spent a couple days out there in Hamilton, Illinois. And then from there, I proceeded to go down to Washington State Park in Missouri, and which is about an hour or so southwest of St. Louis, and went on a little trilobite and geode hunt with Hunting Rocks Jeff. And now I'm on my way back to Canada and slowly working my way. And tomorrow I'm going to stop in at Billings and visit maybe Theo, depends on how the hangover is, or if he gets my message. And then also going to meet up with 406 Findings Travis. And yeah, got a little goodie for him there or two. And then the goal is to get to Helena that evening so that I can spend Saturday morning at Spokane Bar looking for sapphires. Ooh. And then from there, I haven't talked to her yet. It'll be on the way home. But there's a certain lady that likes asteroids and meteorites and that sort of stuff. I think she goes by Allison or Prairie Girl Rocks.
Nice.
but I might just pop by her place. We'll
Oh,
see.
that would be cool.
Yeah, because her town is literally like 30 miles from the border where I cross. So we'll see. I'll ask her on Discord and see what she thinks. And yeah, then it's all home and quickly get unpacked and then get ready for work.
Wow. You've got to have a bunch of stuff.
I got 4 buckets full, plus a couple bins and a few loose goodies. So yeah, there's a lot of weight in the car here for sure.
Quick question. Did you take some video? Did you record some of this so that perhaps we might see?
Yes, I was pretty much recording the whole trip.
Awesome.
Nice.
I've been recording stuff since April when I went to the Dominican. So I've got enough footage probably for a good 20 or 30 videos by now. But it's just got to get my procrastinating rear end off the duff and start editing and putting stuff out there.
Do it.
Awesome. I know we need to see. I mean, and you've got an all-star cast in your videos so far. You've got like a wonderful collection of cameos. And so I'm sure that the videos are going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
They'll definitely make it better because they know what they're doing.
Well, I have a feeling,
Not really.
yeah, I have a feeling you're going to be good at it too. And so did you have some favorites? Like, do you have some material that you'd love to show us?
Oh, yeah, I picked out a few goodies. Yes, indeed. So, I'm in the armrest in the car. So this was, just some small quartz crystals from Herkimer.
Small.
There's
I
one
want small crystals like that.
Then there's one that was like, I got to glue it together, but I found the 2 crystals that go together like this.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, no, dropped it.
Don't lose it.
Right.
No. And then, jar of assorted whole ones and some pieces. So I got a few.
What would you say was your experience there at the Herkimer Mines good? How did you like it?
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, there's a lot of I filled a bucket with chunks of this.
Oh, the druzy stuff. Wow,
Oh,
look
yeah.
at that. Or are they nubbins? Are they nubbins or druzy?
Well, that could be nubbins, but there is definitely this is one of the nicer pieces I found. But yeah, there was all kinds of druzy, and a lot of it was already busted up. People are after the big quartz crystals, right? So all these druzy pieces are just laying around everywhere, and it's like, dude, I'm
Right.
taking these.
If I was anywhere else, this would be amazing, right?
Yeah.
Why are these on the ground?
Another thing a person could do too is the druzy's just on this part here. I can put it on the slab saw at the club, cut that part off, throw that bottom chunk in like muriatic acid. It'll dissolve that dolomite limestone, and whatever quartz crystals are inside there that are in pockets inside will be just set loose. So it's like win-win.
Yeah, you might end up with some big scores that you didn't know that you were packing.
Oh yeah, exactly. So got to do it, right? So
and then
the next stop was like I say in the Keokuk region. I mean some nice geodes. The biggest one is probably will fill the palm of my hand. I'll send you a picture of that, Kyle. It was super light. I mean, yeah, I can't wait to crack that thing open. It's gonna be fantastic.
So are you going to crack them or are you going to cut them? What's your attitude about those?
I'd like to crack them, but I got to talk to one of the club members. He's got a rock shop, of course. So he's got a pipe cutter like what Tyler uses at his rock shop, and says, yeah, I could come by anytime and crack them open. So I got a bucket full of geodes that are going to need busting open.
I vote for
Future video.
cutting.
Cutting.
I
But
vote for
then,
cutting.
you know, like, oh man, no.
But then you have like a nice smooth surface. So if you decide to polish it, you don't have to grind it down anymore.
Yeah, yes. But if you cut it, then, you know, like I don't know if you remember Geode Cracker had a video out where he had this giant pyrolusite crystal that was in that geode. And if he would have cut it, he would have just sliced right down the middle of that crystal.
Oh,
that's a good point.
Good point. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Yes, that's a fair point.
So I don't want to take a chance, you know. So, and then of course, you know, being down in Southern Illinois with Jeff, we went to his old stomping grounds, his hometown of Grafton, and went trilobite hunting. I got a couple. One, unfortunately, really nice one. I was trying to be as careful as I could, taking the chisel to the far edge of the, you know, like 6 inches away from the actual trilobite, hitting at it, and looked down, and it had blown up. And I was almost in tears, I tell you. But I did get that one.
Hello.
Nice.
Aww. So cute.
Yeah. So
have you
it
named
needs
him
a little
yet?
bit more prepping. Get the rest of that limestone off of there, but it's pretty soft, so that's, you know, that's nice.
Oh yeah.
And then
I think we're all commiserating with broken fossils, aren't we?
Yep. Yeah. Just a little bit.
Yeah. Those delicate little fish fossils. Yeah, I can imagine. I'd lose my mind. I still want to go down there, Kyle.
Do it.
You want to go down there?
I'm going.
Yeah.
So
it's good.
You can always fly to one of the nearest airports and just drive over, so you don't have to drive like all the way across the states to get there.
Mosquito, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I like to drive though. I mean, you know, it's only 12 hours, I think, for me to drive from Calgary to Kemmerer.
So you're closer than I am. Like
it's such a beautiful place too. You would have like it's a gorgeous drive, depending on which way you want to go. It's fabulous. You'd be going straight past where I went to the memorial. I mean, it's just like fantastic alpine, and then you get down there into the desert, you know, kind of like the cliffy high desert, and it's just gorgeous also. Gotta love it.
Yeah. And then you know, along the way there's things like Crystal Park or you know, Gem Mountain. All those sort of things are all along the way. I mean, there's not just the one thing. So, you know, make a week of it and go and spend 2 or 3 days in Kemmerer and, you know, a few days rock hounding elsewhere. You know, I mean, Crystal Park's cheap, $5 for parking and $15 for camping and free to dig.
That's a pretty good deal.
Lots of BLM camping also, like on that particular trek. You've got some really good options.
Well, that's the beauty of anywhere west of the Mississippi. Yeah,
lots of
BLM everywhere, especially in Wyoming. Like I think that like 80% of that state is.
It's one of the least populated.
Yeah. I'll tell you though, I mean, there's a place called Guernsey, Wyoming, and I keep seeing this fellow post on Facebook about some of these rocks that he's finding. I don't know what river it is or anything like that, but I want to go rock hounding around there because there's some incredible stuff this guy's pulling off. So, see, tangent.
Well, but rocks.
Yes,
so we're good. We're safe.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, I mean, I'd show you the sapphires, but I haven't gotten there yet.
You've done sapphires before, though, right, Greg?
Yes. Yeah, I've gone to Phillipsburg a couple times, to Gem Mountain. I didn't get actually to the mountain site because it wasn't exactly the right time of year for it. But I did go and I've gotten like 4 bags of the gravel, and I think I have like in total something like 55 carats worth of sapphires out of those 4 bags.
Wow, nice. And so, and you're going to hit something different this time or the same?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Spokane Bar, which is on the east side of Helena, right on the Missouri River.
Uh-huh.
So this is what it was, is old dredge tailings. They were looking for gold, and they were told that the sapphires were worthless. So,
Oh,
Sucks
all
be
right.
them.
Yeah, those old timers sure missed out, because now, like if you wanted to, you can get them heat treated and bring out that nice blue, or just leave them as natural as you can be and do whatever you like with them. And, you know, make arrangements with people like Karen and Patrick and
right.
whomever has
All the
a
facetors are
faceting machine.
drooling. Yeah, exactly. Like, oh,
Yeah,
sapphires. Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I,
got to
I
make
think
my way over there.
I was reading up on the Spokane Bar. I think the biggest sapphire gem grade that they pulled out of there was like 50 carats.
Dang.
Yeah, big sapphire.
Yeah, like can't even imagine yanking something like that out of the mud or what have you. Yeah, just be done. I'm done.
Yeah.
Going home.
Yes. Yes.
And find a faceter that can facet it and keep as much of the material as possible. I know there's like a good loss for
Oh yeah.
for doing that, but like
There are those out there.
Yeah.
Like Justin Prim is one of the folks that specializes in keeping the material. Will create a design around the stone as opposed to making the stone adhere to one of the designs. Roger Derry
Mhm.
is one as well. That they're just masters at like being able to just fashion that perfect, gorgeous, brilliant stone out of losing as little as possible.
yeah.
So
Tough for sure. I mean, you got to be a master. I mean, especially if you're trying to dodge inclusions and whatnot. I mean,
were there a lot of
or
inclusions that you see in those sapphires?
yes and no. I mean, some of the ones that I've seen, I mean, I don't have a loop, so I haven't really gotten into it, but there's ones that have like they'll have a light greenish exterior or ring, and then like a yellowish brown center. So I don't know if that can be worked out with heat treatment or what the deal is with that, but
Mm.
or you could just make a pretty interesting, sorry, mosquito. Uh, I mean, I'm in the prairies. They're here, they're everywhere.
Oh man, they've
Um,
been so thick this year.
yeah, I've been eaten alive, but yeah, I really wouldn't know. I couldn't judge what I have for inclusions because I mean, I just don't have the training. I
Yeah.
mean, yet. We'll see.
You're going to become a sapphire expert soon if you keep on going to the
That would be
sapphire.
nice. That would be nice. I mean, I also do got to get a return trip into, I got to get it sometime, is the Emerald Creek Garnet area in Idaho.
Right.
I was
Oh,
down
man.
there in the spring and I missed out on their opening by a week. It was Memorial Day weekend, and
How tragic.
at least down the road was the Huckleberry Mine. It's a little pricier, but I mean, I got golf ball size garnets out of there, and I mean, a
Wow.
lot of their stuff
Nice.
is gem grade. So
It is?
yes,
Wow.
they have star. That's where the star garnets are.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Mhm.
I need to educate myself more on Idaho. We did part of our adventure through there, and yeah, it's the gem state, you know? Like, yeah,
Mhm.
there's a lot.
Right.
I did like just the googly search, on Google Maps of like rock sites, and just the ones that they knew about, like the whole state was pretty much little red dots. Like I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh goodness. But yeah, keep
Yeah.
going about the garnets.
Oh, I mean, three of them that I got tallied up to like 3/4 of a pound. I
Wow,
mean,
Wow.
that's insane.
yeah, yeah, they're heavy, good size, golf ball size. Have the full dodecahedron. They do have an iron oxide coating on it, so I do want to either take a light or a very fine grit sandpaper to them, clean them off, or put them in the tumbler on the second stage grit and see what that'll do. See if that'll take it off. But
Those would be
don't-
specimens, like you'd be keeping those,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, without a doubt. I
or be
mean,
making doorknobs out of them or something like that.
I got plenty of the pea size, or roughly around that, a little bit bigger marble size. So those ones, then I can send around to see who can make something nice out of them.
Right, right. And did they seem like they had stars, or can you tell before you
No,
polish?
no, you'd have to wait till you polish. But the
Mm.
ones that I got, the gentleman who owns the Huckleberry Mine hadn't been up to the star claim yet. So this was all material from the non-star garnet claim that he has. So,
Ah, so there you go.
just have to go back. That's all.
Gotta go back. I think that's everybody's mantra, that's
Yeah.
why I'm lamenting the end of summer so bad, because like there's places that I haven't been yet that I need to go, and then there's places that I really want to go back to. And I know that Kyle and I could say the same thing, like, first top of the list. Although I know that
Yeah.
you want to go back to Glass Butte too.
Yeah, I want to go back
Oh,
to
yeah.
Glass. Yeah, because I couldn't quite get there in my car, but I can go over that when it's my turn. But yeah, I want to go back before it gets. And if I can't get back this year, I'll just go next year. But
And Hampton Butte's right next door too.
I know.
Yeah.
Again, like I was considering hitting one. I was considering going there like on my way back, but again, the rental car didn't have a whole lot of clearance on it, so I was like, I probably shouldn't.
Well, Hampton Butte, you could get right up there, and that's no problem there.
Some of the
Glass
spots
Butte, though, I wouldn't.
yeah. Glass Butte was a little touchy in spots. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't.
And even
These aren't my
spottier
tires.
spots that are, oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, we flatted our Tacoma tires, going up to the spottier spots. Yeah, it gets gritty,
Well,
but it's
I
worth
can
it.
believe it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
We love it. But I haven't allowed us to go back there because usually it would be on the way out, and I don't want to flat on the way out to like say Wyoming or something like that. And so I've been like, kibosh, we'll hit it on the way back. And then usually when we point the horse to the barn, sometimes it's like, we're just going,
Yeah.
By the end of 2 weeks, Greg, is your horse to the barn yet? Are you feeling it?
I'm feeling it. Yeah. I mean, I put in a lot of long days driving, like 12, 13-hour days driving, if not
You're an
longer.
animal. Oh my gosh.
And this morning, this morning I started off at 7:30. It's currently 9:40. So, and I still got another 2 hours to go. So thank goodness for these. Caffeine, like they say, Red Bull gives you wings, right? So,
yeah, caffeine makes the world go round big time.
Give me toothpicks.
Yeah. And it's anti-gravity solution as well. So awesome. Well, yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Is there more? Do you want to share more, or do we have to look into the future for that?
Well, there is one more thing I want to share, but that's going to be tied in with my words of wisdom.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
We'll have a cliffhanger there, so everybody has to stay until the end. Well, thank you so much for your trip report, Greg.
You're welcome.
Yeah, don't lose too much blood while we're on Kyle's trip report.
It won't take long.
Okay.
So, that video came out. That video was recorded before I even got to Wyoming. So that was like weeks ago, like last month. But it was, I was torn on going to Glass Butte, like on the way there. Like, I wanted to wait until like when I got done with Kemmer on my way back. But no, it's right here. There's been times where I've been on trips with the people where we went to like the Spectrum Mine, or we did something else like out east, and they drove right past Glass Butte, and like they know I wanted to stop by, and they're like, no, we got somewhere to be. I'm like, but it's like right there. We're passing right by it. It's right there.
Right? You see the sign, the milepost, and it's right on 20. So it's like, yeah, to go almost anywhere east, it's like, oh, hi.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So since I was the driver, I was in charge of the trip. I'm like, I'm just gonna go. Whoop, we're gonna have lunch at Glass Butte today, and so I had a quick sandwich and did a quick look around, and I didn't intend on spending a whole lot of time there because I was trying to get to my main destination in Wyoming. But I ended up being there for at least a few hours. It didn't feel like that long. I feel like I was only there for like, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes. But no, I was there for a little while.
It was only the noonday sun making you totally like sun loopy.
Yeah.
All. Yeah.
Yeah. So did a lot of surface collecting, a lot of small stuff on the surface. There is, for those that don't know, so Glass Butte is technically designated a rock hounding paradise for obsidian. There is a few claims out there, however, and when you first pull in, there's a cattle pond. That whole cattle pond area, that's where a lot of the main claims are at for fire obsidian, and so you don't want to claim jump and pick up stuff you're not supposed to. So I kind of avoid that area.
Which has got to be hard.
Yeah, it was, because like I the last time I was there was like, I think it was like about 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, and I collected obsidian there before those claims were there, so it was hard for me. It's like, I know where to go, it's just I can't go there without permission. Yeah. And like, I know who one of the claim owners are. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him in person, but I know who he is. And in retrospect, I could have been like, hey, I'm in this area. Is okay if I just do some surface collecting on the earner claims? But I was in a hurry, and I didn't really worry about too much. I just want to show people how easy it is to go out there and just pick obsidian, because it's easy. It's in the road. It's on top of the ground. You can walk out there. You can find obsidian in no time. There was another area I didn't record because it was, I think it was one of the sheen pits. Now a little further, I guess it'd be a little bit further south. That stuff you have to dig for. So I show up to the area, and it's just like pits, but there's nothing on the surface to take. So I couldn't get anything. I'm like, well, I won't go to this spot. I'll go to another spot. So, and that's where I ended up in the last part of the video, was picking stuff up. There's stuff like right next to the car. I'm like, oh sweet, this is easy.
That's a great video. Yeah. I thought it was really informative, and it was fun, and I loved how you chipped them so that you could see what kind of material you were working with. You didn't necessarily have to wash the whole rock. I thought that was a much better way to do it than what I was doing. I took a lot of material.
I only brought one piece of obsidian back with me, as far as back here home. In next week's video, Blue Forest, that's when I think I took a video of me giving the other obsidian to Theo and Kim, so they have the rest. It was a gift.
No spoilers, of course. You have to go watch this video. It's very good. But that little kind of hat that you had, that does it end up having something in it? That one that you kept, the little piece?
I haven't fully checked it or worked it at all. I just kind of grabbed it.
Mm-hmm.
It is magnetite layers, but as far as like the quality of it, the quality, I have to further work it down and kind of get a better look at it, and then I'll know for sure.
Don't you call that like sunset or something like that, when it's kind of in the yellows and oranges and reds? It kind of looked like that.
I mean, like, I call it the summer colors.
Summer colors, yeah. I knew it was something having to do with sun.
Yeah, usually I give it nicknames, and it's not like actual proper names for them. It's just stuff I call them. So this
is not TM yet.
Yeah, no, it's not TM. So I for like oranges, yellows, reds, I call summer colors, or even fall colors. And then winter colors are more like lack of color, so there's like the silver ones, or like it's got some like hint of blue in there. And then spring colors are like the greens and purples and reds and blues, like all the different colors. But yeah, I would love to find some actual high grade stuff. And I can't stress it enough to say that if someone's going out there to think that they can just like pick stuff up and sell it, can't. It's a big no-no.
Yeah. It's bad and good.
And that's why I was only like bringing a couple pieces back with me, because like I know I can't sell it. Like, best case I can give it away, but like, hey, I'll do a giveaway, as a thank you. Here's some free obsidian. But for the most part, like I have obsidian in the backyard. If I need to buy more, I will track down either estate sales or people online that are looking to sell their collections, or just go to the local rock shop and try to find what I'm looking for, because I it's not worth getting in trouble for.
Well, it's bad juju,
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we try to keep it on the up and up, of course. And I liked that you had added that in so that folks know and keep it in mind when they're on BLM sites, or else we're not going to be allowed anymore, if people are using stuff commercially that we're not supposed to.
Yeah. And it's not just obsidian, it's anything rocks. Collect responsibly.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're gonna ruin it for everybody else, so please don't do that.
Right.
And fill in your pits.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. So that you don't find a cow in one,
Yeah.
Oh, can't rockhound past that.
Oh.
But it was a nice trip. I drove super slow because, again, I was not in my truck. If I was on a truck, I would have drove a little bit faster, but not that much faster. Just because the glass is in the road, you have to be very, very respectful of the roads, and don't rush it. And make sure that you have good tread on your trucks or on your tires. And then I saw a comment that, because I made a comment about how like there's not really any like rattlesnakes out there. But someone left a comment that there is actually rattlesnakes out there. And I'm like, well, I guess that's a fair point. I mean, I haven't seen it myself out there, but that's just, I was told that you don't see snakes out there because of the glass, which the way I think about it, like, yeah, that would make sense. Like, if you're a snake, why would you want to crawl over, slither over broken glass and cut up your belly? I guess until I see it, I still don't want to believe it. But scorpions still, scorpions.
My money on snakes out there and scorpions.
All right, so next time I'll look for snakes. I will correct myself in my next video out there. Like, all right, there's snakes out here.
I think that they're out there. It's just that they try to avoid you. Even though it was super snaky. Greg, did you run into any snakes? It's been a super snaky season.
Not on this trip. I mean, I've seen little lizards crawling around on the grass or in the bush out in Missouri. I did run into a rattlesnake out at Sucker Creek when I was out there. Thankfully, he gave me a little shake to warn me that I was getting a little too close.
And then
saw scorpions up at Saddle Mountain in Washington, and that's about it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that, Kyle, you need to go spend enough time out at Glass Butte.
And not just a little bit. Because the last time I was out there was like over 10 years ago. And like we were actually there for quite some time during the day. And like even then I didn't see any snakes. Even during my bathroom trip on the solo tree on the mountain. So what's really funny is like during that video I had talked about like my first time like ever like doing my business like technically in the woods was like in that area, and I left that part out of the video. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna leave that in the video. I'm take that part out. I try to stay on subject a little bit and not get too far off into the weeds.
Well, come on, what's a video without a good tangent?
Right.
maybe I'll find that footage and I'll do a clip it and I'll put it in my members only part of the videos.
I think that everybody is shouting at their screens right now that we need this in our lives. Go find it, Kyle.
But if anyone has a chance to go to Glass Butte and do it, just again, I can't stress this enough. Be careful of the roads, and definitely bring water. and gloves, because those rocks are hot when they've been baking in the sun all day.
And
That
sharp.
was another thing. Go ahead, Greg.
Oh, I was going to say, and sharp.
No, yeah, and sharp.
Needless to say, obsidian.
So
Yeah.
sharp.
Because
Yeah.
I brought a piece back for one of the guys I work with, and I said to him, when you clean it off, be very careful. It's sharp. Once you do, cleans it off. Oh, yeah.
Why does everyone cut themselves on obsidian? Like, I work it all the time.
I don't know. Just not used to it, Kyle. Just not used to it.
Yeah.
But that'll do it for this for that trip update. And I'm sure I'll have more after each video gets released, because there's gonna be 3 more videos attached to my trip. Blue Forest, the American Fossil, and then there is a surprise unexpected rock hounding video in Utah, because
Nice.
I took a wrong turn, and it no joke. Like, I was following Google
Took
Maps.
a left in Utah. Like
I took a left somewhere in Wyoming, and I think there was like a detour of traffic somewhere. I'm like, I wasn't paying much attention, but my phone told me to go this other way. I'm like, okay, well, I don't remember coming back this way, but I'll go and listen to Google Maps. And next thing I realized, I'm in Utah, and I was looking for the "Welcome to Utah" sign. No, it didn't even. I missed the sign somewhere. I'm like, huh. And then eventually, like, I was looking for the "Welcome to Idaho," and then like I missed that sign too. But at some point, I ended up at a lake, and I'm like, oh, this is actually really pretty. Like, I'll stop by, stretch my legs, use the bathroom, and get some nice footage. Of course, as being a rock hound, my eyes are, oh, that's pretty, and then look at the ground. So that'll be a really short video.
That's one pretty lake, though.
It really is. It looked welcoming. I think if I wasn't in a hurry to get back home, because I drove home from Wyoming back to Corvallis in one day, and I will never do that again.
Never.
I forgot what time I left, because Theo and I went to the rock shop there in Kemmerer, and then we were going to have breakfast, but the breakfast place didn't open there until like, I forgot what it was, like 10 or 11 or something like that.
Oh,
Crazy.
And we're like, and we were waiting for something else too. Well, at least Theo had a wait around. So we're like, oh, let's go to the rock shop. Let's go spend our money there. So we went there. We bought some stuff, and so I think I left there like 10 or 11 ish, give or take. I forgot exactly what time I left, but then I didn't get home till like 1:30.
Oh man.
In the morning, and
Yeah.
I was white knuckling by the time I got the sisters. I'm like, just like, I'm seeing things from the corner of my eyes. I'm just like, I don't like this.
No.
it's
Did
like
you
that
take
movie
20?
Black Dog.
Yeah, I took 20. Like, I went through sisters.
That is so dodgy. Everybody who's watching right now, that is like a sketchy highway during the day, and you're absolutely like fine and well caffeined, like not even at night when you're super tired. That's not a good thing.
And it didn't help either. Like, my car was running low on gas, and this is before they had passed that rule that people can pump their own fuel. But most of the gas stations were starting to shut down by the time I got the sisters, and I managed to get to one gas station, and they're just getting ready to shut down. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness. So I managed to get some gas on it before I got home. But that was
right, because like the next one is Sweet Home. This is through the Cascades, everybody. So you're like going up over a bunch of really gnarly mountains is what you're doing.
Oh, you know what's really funny is I got home. Amy did this. She's like, okay, she made sure to leave the door, like the front door, like unlatched, like unchained. We have deadbolt chain and then a top latch. She left the two other security measures like undone, so like when I get home I can just come in, not a big deal. She left the screen door locked, so I get home and I'm like, I couldn't open the screen door. I'm like, it's like 1:30 something in the morning. I'm like, I'm so tired, I just want to come in. And that's like, I call her and I'm like, I try to get her answer phone, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
You're like, do I have to break into my house?
I mean, it would have been an option. Like, I know how to do it. I've done it before. It would have been option 3, because option 2 was, or first option was call Amy, see if she can answer her phone. Option 2 would have been to knock on our bedroom door, our bedroom window, to get her to wake up. Probably would have freaked her out quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Option 3 was to break into our own house, which again, I've done it. I've done it once. I could do it again.
You're like, I'm not sleeping in the rental car. That's not happening.
No. But yeah, that was a little funny. And then of course I took the car I took the car back the next day, or technically the same day because it was 1:30, same day. So my friend was telling me, he's like, "Dude, just take your time, come back home. Don't rush it." But I wanted to rush it and get back home so I can empty out the car. I basically detailed that car just to get my security deposit back because there is dust just everywhere. Because like
Sure.
I had the windows down because at one point I had everything in the car, so like I didn't have to worry about like losing the car key or like anything else. Had the trunk open, had the windows down, and mind you, this at the Blue Forest and at the American Fossil, so like this dust.
Fine itty bitty
everything.
dust, like fine micron dust.
Yeah, and so I literally detailed the car inside, and mostly I just went through a car wash for the outside. I did have to use some polishing compound to remove some. I don't know if it's me that did it or the person before me, but there were some scratches on the side of the car. If it was me, it probably was from the sagebrush at Glass Butte. So I was trying to get down some little sketchy roads.
Desert pinstriping is what they call that.
I managed to actually get most of it out, surprisingly, and because I was panicking, I was sweating a little bit. I was like, I don't want to pay for like this. So
that's worth a video in and of itself, right there.
I can always put a little clip it here of if I can remember to find it. See where we at? 46 minutes 57. I can see if I can find it. If I can't find it, see. I can note me polishing car. That's a good way to do it because no joke. I had like my little Ryubi drill. I'm like, okay, what can I do to attempt to fix it? Of course, I did test spot first to make sure that it would work. But I have some Menzerna polishing compound, and I have like all the different grits. I'm like, well, if I use grit number 5, which is basically the high finish polish for like metalworking, I'm pretty sure this with some buffing wheels, which I just went down to Harbor Freight and bought like those little foam pads for foam wheels for the Dremel, and I'm like sitting there with my drill and just like wah, wipe it away. Oh, it'll actually work. So I'm sitting there just like nice. On the side of the car.
Score.
I'm getting my security deposit back.
Doing body work with a Dremel. I love it.
The only one I didn't do is the one I didn't put there that I know I for sure didn't put there because they pointed out when I got my car, like there was like a big long pinstripe on the top of the car. But the ones on the side, like again, I'm unsure if it was me. It could have been, but I don't know for sure. Either way, I gave the car back better than when I got it.
Nice. That's what your mama always told you.
Yeah, it was funny because I brought back the gal that was there. She's like, "Man, this car's really clean." I'm like, "I know, I detailed it before I brought it back."
Boom. Yeah.
It didn't help. It didn't help too because I had gotten like a breakfast burrito. We went to American Fossil, and I'm just mounting down this burrito as we're driving up to the fossil pit. Of course, I'm eating in the car. Well, a piece of egg falls down. I don't think anything of it. I'm like, I thought I got it. Well, it was in between my leg and the seat. So at one point, I had to get out to talk to Theo because we thought we were going the wrong direction. And I had to like rub the egg into the seat. And I'm like, oh no. So that's what I think about like, the entire time. But luckily, we have a little extractor here at home. So I was able to clean that just fine. I'm like,
oh.
So for anyone that doesn't have an extractor, buy one. Because if you ever have to rent a car, you can get your security deposit back if you bring it back cleaner.
Pays for itself.
It does.
Great.
Anyways, I will end my little side tangent there.
That was so good of a tangent. Theo would be so proud of us right now.
Wipes a tear from his eye.
Yeah, totally. Happy birthday, Theo.
Yes. Hope your hangover isn't too bad tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. So thank you, Kyle, for that trip update. And ours was a whirlwind tour. We headed out to Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, and Eastern Oregon. We were paying our dues to a family member. We had to scatter some ashes, but of course we wanted to do some rock hounding on the way. And we ended up first stopping at Kyle's Lake. the lake that Kyle
Oh.
stopped at. Which, you know, for one thing, we had initially hoped that we were going to be able to all be at one place at one time, but the calendar didn't acquiesce to our request, and so Kyle and Theo made it to American Fossil before I did, but I was headed in that direction as well. I just ended up there a little bit later than them, but like totally coincidentally, we had planned to lay up our long drive there at the lake that Kyle ended up actually getting lost at. And so we camped there, and that place was incredible. Like the water had to have been like 75 degrees. It looked like the Caribbean because it's a calcium carbonate and it's a volcanic lake, and so it actually keeps on getting deeper. It's situated on a fault or some such thing, and so I mean the thing is just a geologic wonder in and of itself. And let me tell you, good swimming and water sport going on there. We did some stand-up paddleboarding and some hot day, you know, splashing around. And on the beaches, there were conglomerate fossils that were super cool. I didn't take any because we were staying on a state beach, and so I couldn't take any of the fossil record, but I did do a bunch of videos, so we get to kind of look at those. We took a drive that a local suggested up the mountains west of there, and those were filled with like sluices from people that used to mine up there. And there was a place called Pink Bench where there was a bunch of, I thought it was quartzite, but I believe it's dolomite. At least that's what Wikipedia says. It's gorgeous. This is a dry and unappealing piece that doesn't show off at how beautiful it is, but Kyle can put up a picture. This material was literally the whole top of the mountain, and so it glowed this golden yellow through oranges to reds and pinks, and it even turned purple. It was stunning. Like we were just driving past these huge cliff sides, you know, the road cuts that were just this material, and it was shimmering because it's so silicified. I mean, it's very, very silicate-y. And so we were just shocked and amazed, you know, even by our little layup camping spot that we decided to go to. That's just outside Kemmer. And so we continued on to Kemmer, and that was, as you guys have already heard everybody go on and on about, because I think a fair number of the rock hounding community now has visited Kemmer this year. So we got lots of fun videos, and yet I'm working through like some of the partials that I brought home to practice some of the preparation before I'm working on the big or not, well, there is big involved, but full fishes. Hey Kyle, how many like complete fishes did you get, do you think?
Not as many as I've liked.
Good answer.
Great answer. And Greg, you know what? You're going to have the opportunity to meet us all down there really anytime, because sitting here, like I felt like this first trip, and I don't know if you'd agree, Kyle, but it felt like it was like the practice errand, like that I got a chance to kind of figure out, okay, this is what I am supposed to be doing. And by the time I was done, I was starting to get the hang of it. And also on the way home, several of my pieces broke. And so I have a few fulls that broke, and then I don't know what's underneath some of the matrix because I took some that were protected. And I'm like when I was unloading, I was just frustrated. I should have totally videoed me unloading the tote that I filled with the material because it was just colorful. So was that your experience, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I had a few that broke, and I'm gonna try to fix them. They had, because the shop that Theo and I stopped at, they suggested some CA adhesive that they use for their prepping, and it's just Starbond, and they use an extra thick one for the repairs as far as gluing them back together. they just said this, don't use a whole lot, because that way you don't want all the excess glue to come up on top. Because what will happen is that CA adhesive, no matter if it's the thick stuff or the thin stuff, it will soak into that limestone, and you're not gonna get rid of it.
Yeah,
it's gonna be stuck there. I had my stingray impressions, not an actual stingray, just the impression of one that broke on the way getting out of the mine. And I cried a little. I didn't actually cry, but I feel like I should have, because that was like that was. So I don't know if I got it in the video or not. I'll have to double check my footage, because I had to do all the editing still. But when Theo, Kim, and myself, we all decided to do a second row of the private dig. On the second row of the private dig, like, there's so many fish that were just sitting like right there in the surface, all these big blocks. So Theo picked a block, Kim picked a block, I picked a block, and we just kind of started moving stuff around. Well, the block I chose, I didn't see it initially until I had moved it just right. So the light actually showed this impression of the stingray. So it was like, about this, about that big, and then he had the tail. And the way they described it was, a lot of times, whenever stingrays are in one spot, they'll make their little impression, and then eventually they'll just like swim away, and then eventually it gets filled in, and now you have this impression. So that's what I got. So that broke, and I'm like, okay, I gotta fix this, because my idea is to put this in a box with LEDs above it. So after it broke, I just left it in the very same box, and I'm hoping I can get a somewhat, I don't want to say seamless, but as seamless as I can possibly get fix on it. And that's where it's kind of important to kind of keep any excess material after you're prepping stuff, because you can use that. You guys are sitting so still. I'm like, am I frozen?
We're frozen. Yeah.
But no, you can either use like a cutting bit, or like a filing bit, or even just a file by hand, and just like shave like the pieces into powder, and then use that kind of to pack in some of the cracks, so that you can kind of
like a wood filler.
Yeah, basically.
That's a great idea, because I have some serious batching to do. So maybe one of us should make a healing video as well, because I'm sure that we're not the only ones that broke things.
There's probably a good, maybe they might have a video out there, but what I've been doing, and I don't know if this is the proper way to do it, but because you have to, when you're prepping the fossils, I'm sorry, Karen, if I'm impeding on to your little
Not
thing.
at all. I asked you a question.
But so what I've been doing is I've been using the ultra thin CA adhesive with just a little paintbrush, and dipping the brush into the glue, and then very carefully apply it to the fossil, just the fossil, not the limestone around it, because again, once it gets in the limestone, it's going to absorb into it, and then it just looks not good. And then for the remaining part of limestone around the fish is just basically a glue water mixture. So I bought one of the little fossil preparation kits there at the American Fossil, and basically all it is a metal graver, and with PVA pellets, which I won't ever use again, and a little film canister that was like filled about that much with what looks like this white school glue, and I just add water in there, shook it up really good, and then I take another brush, apply that to the limestone, and that keeps it from like getting like all dusty and flaky. But I've been using the glue mixture for like the water and Elmer's glue, and just kind of like using some of the powder, the limestone dust, and just mixing that together a little bit, and then put a little bit more of a dusting just on top. Let it dry for a little bit, and then I kind of rub it in there, and then it does an okay job.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Right.
Because I mean, there were several moments where I should have been in tears too, and I was just so frustrated that like they would have been dried anyway, because that chalk is like so desiccant, like it just leaches all of the moisture out of everything, so you can't even cry. But so this is a guy, look at it's flaking still, that was like stuck together during my live. I opened this guy up, and I was just popping some of the pieces that were a little bit more I guess just not precious. Just to show that some of the way that you do it, it's so cool there at the quarry, is that you're just opening up these little books. You're just opening up basically what feels like drywall, and just like kind of cracking slices of it open, and then oh, nothing. Oh, there's like some poop. Oh, there's a fish, and it's addictive. It's like gambling, like just a few more rocks, okay? What do you mean my time's up, And so it's super fun, and obviously it's really moving to be able to open up these very well preserved fish fossils, and you can see their little eye, or they're eating another fish, or some very endearing little scenarios going on, their poop. And so that was super fun, and everybody's invited to go and meet us there, because we're going to live there, I think, next year. Like where every podcast is going to be from Kemmer, Wyoming.
I'm pretty sure Theo would be in on that.
Get a job there or something. I mean, they offered you a job, right? Like,
yeah.
cool.
I don't know if they were. I mean, I don't know if they were super serious about it, but it was the owner of the mine. It's like, hey, you guys want a job like in the fall season? And like, I think if I didn't have a family, didn't have like other duties here, I probably would have taken them up on them. I'm like, look, absolutely. It was like, because
110%. You don't even have to pay me.
Yeah, because I mean, so Theo, myself, and Kim, like we blew through 2 lanes of private digs in one day. And granted, we probably could have gone a little bit smaller some of the other pieces, but like we worked hard, and like we were barely stopping for anything. And that's what prompted him to stop by. Like, hey, I have to know, like, who are you guys? Like, we are just blowing through this material.
That's awesome. Yeah, but at one point we got there were thunder showers like all over the place. I mean, in my video, you're going to see that'll be out sometime soon. That like black clouds, and it just, there was a downpour at one point, and everybody on the quarry like went back to their cars to get, whatever. And I'm the king. I don't care. I'm from Oregon right now,
You guys are new to this?
If you worry about getting wet, you'd never get anything done here. And so, yeah, I just like stayed out there, because once again, I was on the clock, it wasn't that I got to finish a row or something. I was like, yeah. And so at any rate, it's such a good time. Definitely. We would all recommend that American Fossil be something that you put on your bucket list, because it was amazing.
And again, you get to keep everything you find up to $100,000 value.
Yeah. And I compared some of the, I don't know, as far as the Warfield, I will go there next time for sure. But I did compare some of the stuff that my brother and my mom gave me from last year. And I was impressed with the things that we were finding in American, as well, as far as the preservation and what was available, like big, nice, dark fossils. And so I really appreciated what they made available to the general public. At not the premium. And so very, very cool. We went from Kemmer on to Star Valley, which was our destination. And there was a place that was adjacent to our destination, Strawberry Canyon, which is full of granite and incredible, almost sawtooth-like configs in the mountains and quartz, and then also the Tyge area, which is Idaho Wyoming border, where my family actually has some land that's on the Oregon Trail, which I didn't even know. So like, again, the more that you know. But during the memorial, we got to go out there and check out the family digs, and I hadn't been out there since my grandfather had taken me out as a kid, and so it was really super cool. Lots of cool geology, and so more to come on that area, because we'll be going back soon. Craters of the Moon was one of our next stops on the route. Greg, did you get a chance to go to Craters?
No, I didn't.
So like a lot of basalt. I'm sure. It seems like Jared's been there of currently rock hounding, but like a lot of pahui hui and the tuff and basalt, and it's just gorgeous. What's that?
A pepper? Basalt, the pepper?
Yes, the basalt and the pepper. So again, if you're traveling and you get a chance to go to craters or the craters of the moon with an F somewhere in there, if you're like a Zent nerd, the craters is somewhat infamous amongst those guys, but it was really cool to go and hike around there, and it was not hot as heck, and so we got super duper lucky. Sawtooth Mountain Range was after that, and the Piatt River in Idaho. We found a lot of case spar, and the things that I'm always super jealous of Kurt when he gets to river rockhound, because he finds so many cool things. Like this one's a green and quartz lined rock, and I don't know what it is, and it's so cool. And there were pudding stones and all these things that I'm sorry that Kurt's not here tonight either. He had something that was going on. He was going to try to rush back, but we don't want anybody speeding on the highways, and so he's apparently not here right now. But I'm always so jealous of what he finds on the rivers, and I felt like I got to do like a kind of Kurt hunt there. And so lots of like feldspar and brecciated stones and things like that. And so of course videos are coming on all that stuff. The Owahis were next. We couldn't not go through there when we were coming back through the eastern part of Oregon, and we were like running into like almost picture stone.
Nice.
Yeah, in fact, like I say almost picture stone. Do you see how glassy that is?
It is. It almost looks it almost looks like a common opal.
Right? Like this is like some high grade stuff. And so I'm totally excited about like this like weird thing that we kind of happened upon on accident. And then there's some more that's look, that's actually wet, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. That part is wet, the part that's really glistening, but you can see how glistening ish the other stuff is. And so lots of kind of almost common opal-y, almost fire opal stuff that was going on out there. I figured that it was some super hot volcanic stuff, and kind of like how the big jasper and stuff gets hot compressed, that perhaps we had something that set up something like that. And so that was amazing. Some rhyolite. This one's kind of partially wet as well. This one's kind of green with some pumpkin colors, and then you've got like bluish white vesicles that are botryoidal. I mean, like the Oahe.
Variety. So much variety.
Yeah, so you enjoyed the Oahe, yeah, Greg?
Well, I don't know how much of the Oahe I got into, but Sucker Creek was just absolutely gorgeous.
That's very, very Oahe, yeah.
I mean, like entire cliff faces full of thunder eggs. They didn't necessarily have anything in them, but you see all these little rhyolite bubbles everywhere.
Right. So good. Awesome. Yeah, and so we spent some time there tooling around the different spots and secret spots that we know of, and finding some pretty incredible material and some insane insects and some snakes. And so we only saw bull snakes, but apparently at the same campsite that we were at, there was an 8-bead rattler under a tent, just like we were at, I think 36 or 35, and it was over there at like 23 or something. And so They were there, they were around. It's just that they don't really necessarily want to be a part of your scene unless like they decide that, under your gear is a good thing. And so after we were done with that, we hit some fossils, more fossils, some plant fossils. And so we got probably some plant or wood here. You can even see like there's a knot right there. There's enough on this one that we're going to put it under the microscope. There's actually organic matter here. And so it's not just, it's kind of like those fossils that we get over there at Kemmer where there's actual, material left over that you can put under the microscope and check out. That's how well preserved they are. And then I also found this guy. Oh, that's terrible.
I see a big white block.
White rock, yeah, piece of sheetrock. This is a big acer leaf or maple leaf. It's partial, but I was pretty excited. Yeah, because like you could see, like it's almost big as my face, and so and it rock.
I'm on a little iPhone here right now. I'm not looking at a computer screen, so
I know that's got to be like so unexciting.
I could actually make out the leaf. If I can make out that detail, everybody should.
Yay. Well, I think I sent a picture to Kyle as well, so he might be able to improve your experience for you. Nice. As far as the acer leaf goes. Yeah, and so we were kind of able to get everything. We got the fossil leaves and the fossil fish, and we got the agates and the jasper and the rhyolite taken care of. We got some K-spar, we got some like mystery rocks, and so that was kind of our whole experience spanning the globe. And I'm gonna go ahead and go like straight from that incredible experience into my words of wisdom and get us all kicked off as far as that's concerned by saying, when you are going through your gear or rock hounding, be very, very careful and know where you're putting your hands, know where you're putting your arms. You never know if there's going to be a snake in there. You never know what kind of insects hanging out in there. Like, a lot of the things that we're picking up off the ground, we might shuffle a few of them in our arms to be able to go and put them someplace else. I totally got bit by an insect on our trip, and that insect was probably a poisonous spider. I say probably because I don't know, because I never found the spider, but I still have the insect bite, and that's like what now, like 2 weeks ago or so.
Yeah.
And it was big, puffed up, hot, and very painful for a week. And so we figure it's probably like a dry bite from a brown recluse or a hobo or a black widow, because we saw all the above in plentitude while we were out there. And it's very likely that somebody was in my gear. And so, when we were packing in or out of one of the spots that we were at, I got bit. And I didn't notice until we were heading home, which was really super good timing because it didn't put the kibosh on any of our fun. But for the whole next week, man, I was like achy muscles and watching for necrotic skin and freaked out. And so watch yourselves, people, when you're out there, because no matter how much you go, and, you might even get a little lax because we're a little nonchalant. We're doing our rockhound thing and we've done it a lot. Yeah, they're still out there. And the scorpions and the snakes and those biting spiders, they could really kind of make your day go terribly wrong. Now, my biggest complaint about it is that I don't feel like I've gotten any superpowers from it. Am I not supposed to? I'm supposed to get like something, right?
Feel ripped off.
You should have been rock hounding over by Hanford.
Right. Well, one of the weird things that the rangers over at the Hawaii said was that I guess there was a uranium mine underneath there before they filled in the reservoir, and that is not capped properly. And so, by golly, I really should have some superhero strength. So, if something like starts to happen with me, like, I'll keep you all in, up to the minute on that.
We'll keep your secret identity secret.
Right. Very good. Thank you, Greg. All right. So those are my words of wisdom. What are yours, Greg? And I think you were saving something special for us.
Yes. My words of wisdom are when you are going on a long rock hunting trip or any rock hunting trip, period, really, always bring something from your region that, somebody else you might run into won't have or won't know about. So when I left on this trip, I packed a bin right full of stuff to, swap with Rockhounds or whatever, or just give away. And I mean, sitting at Mohawk Valley, I had a tote bin full of fluorescent soda light,
Oh,
basically Uper light, but with blue in it. And, I wander over to, camp to camp to camp. And this one camp, I'm like, hey, you want any of that stuff? This guy does cabs and all that sort of stuff. I mean, it'll glow, showed him on the UV and all that. Help yourself, right on. So he takes like 3 or 4 pieces and hang on. Let me get you something. He got me something.
ooh, oh my gosh, look
Wow.
at that.
Yeah.
Holy buckets. That's huge.
So rock karma is a real thing. It's good juju.
Hey.
Just enjoy just sharing what you find where you're at. Kyle, you could take obsidian from Glass Butte, and if you were to go to, Illinois or Florida or something like that, bring a tote along or whatever if you have the room, and say, hey, here you go. Next thing you know, who knows? Somebody might say, hey, here you go. Let me get you
Here's
something.
this megalodon tooth.
That'd be nice.
Right? If it's fiery enough, I'm sure it would be worth it.
So, it's good karma. I mean, I probably wound up getting more than people were so generous to me. I mean, they know who they are. Thank you. Thank you. I can't thank you enough. You're awesome people, all of you. And, I was just, it just feels good to share what you find. And I mean, it's, and it'll pay itself back too.
I love that.
Bring a tote of local stuff.
That's
Good idea.
Yeah, that's some of the best words of wisdom I think I've heard. That's great. I will definitely be doing that in the future. And what a cool story. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you, Greg.
How about you, Pat?
Before I get into my words of wisdom, I wanted to share Theo's show and tell really quick.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he wants to share the artwork that he has planned for.
Probably still secret, yeah.
But at least share like the thing that he found. So if he wants to
Yeah.
share screen, screen 2. There we go. All right. He found this. Can I zoom in? Oh, I can.
Wow.
He found this. And he said, what does it say? He said it's a 6-foot wingspan.
Wow. That is insane.
That's Theo wingspan.
I know. I was just gonna say, and Theo outdoes his own self.
Let's see if I can.
Amazing. Oh, there he is.
Oh,
that's very cool.
Wow.
What a gorgeous piece that is.
It's a really nice.
Good find.
Yeah, he has planned for it, and I mean, he didn't say to not share the idea he has for it, but I also don't want to ruin it. So
right,
we'll leave it here.
I'm just gonna say, some Amalite accents or something like that would look really good on that Theo.
Yeah, Theo. Yeah, I like that, Greg. Yeah, good idea.
But yeah, well, thank you, Theo, for sending in that little snippet of something to come.
Nice. Yeah, thank you, Theo. And Kyle.
My words of wisdom, I'm just gonna say take it day by day. And I say that because I tend to get overwhelmed because I tend to say yes a lot to like a lot of different things. So no joke, next to my bed I got a 4-foot wide, 8-foot tall dry erase board. So I can take everything that is kind of like floating around in my head. I can write it all down, so it's not like kind of like weighing me down a bit. So I can see everything. I have two sections. I got sections for.
What was the dimension again? That's
4
huge.
foot by 8 foot.
Dude, that's like a police schematic, you know, when they're trying to find a serial killer. Like,
no, it's no
screen's going this way and that way.
No, I mean I got it for free too. It's free, was a good price. It's actually in good condition. The tricky part was getting into finding a spot for it because there was like no place in the garage for it. It was massive. I was considering making like a pull down from the ceiling, so it's like on hinges, and so I can like pull it down. But no, it's just too big. So I took off the framing for it, and that was the only way I can get it to fit in our bedroom, and it's floor to ceiling.
Wow.
And it barely fits.
I love it, man. That's so great.
But again,
007.
Yeah, I mean, it helps too, because like I have two sections. I have a section of a normal to-do list, and then I have a section of lapidary stuff. So like I have everything that I need to do in front of me. And at one point the list was dwindling down, but then the next tax quarter's coming up. So like, okay, I have to add some more stuff onto there. And so I can stay on top of things, but just take a day at a time, because I don't know how everyone else handles like over and done or basically like an over stimulation of projects. Usually if I get overstimulated and like there's too much going on, I just won't do anything. I'm like, no, I'm going to take the day and do something else. Just take one day at a time.
Wow. We're so wise this evening, and I I think that like I'm coveting your dry erase board at this point. That is so cool. Like I need one that's like wall size as well. That would be
free is a good price.
Free is
free is always the best price. Yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for your words of wisdom. And before we check out, Greg, do you have anything to leave everybody with? Anything more?
Well, let's see. Well, if you're all in Canada, up in my neck of the woods in southern Alberta or eastern British Columbia, hit me up. I'll show you some good places.
All right.
Which means I need to get my what's it called? Passport.
Everybody, update your passports, get everything in order, go see Greg.
I think River was gonna say goodnight. Hold on.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Are you going good night?
Oh.
River? Let me call her in so we can just all say goodnight together.
Okay, yeah, do that. And meanwhile, I'm just gonna tell everybody, go check out the Discord. If you want to be on the Discord, go ahead and send us an email for the request, and we will send you an email back with the invite, and you can click on that and join us for Rockhound Madness all week long. And if you want to be part of the next show and tell, definitely send us an email to that same one. It's in the description. Our email is, and you guys can be part of our next viewer show and tell. Share with us your huge dry erase boards, or your kids, or your rocks, or whatever.
Hi, River.
Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Aww. Your kisses are so sweet. Thank you, River.
She says thank you.
Thank you, River.
She said you're welcome. Just whisper. All right.
You're so precious.
I'll be on now, okay? Okay. All right, I love you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.
See you night, everybody.
Night.
She's like, nope, I don't want to be not on the podcast anymore. Well, that is an awesome end to a fantastic podcast. Thanks everyone for coming. Thank you, Greg, for taking a moment out of your busy trip, and drive safe to South Dakota where you're off to this evening. Kyle, do you have anything else for everybody?
No, just enjoy your weekend.
All right. Happy rock hounding from all of us to you, and we'll see you
Rock
in a
on.
couple more weeks. Yep. Rock on.
Rock on.
Cheers.